Bring my. Hey, how's it going? You know me as Meta. We're gonna play more of the Ember Knights DLC today. We're just getting off work, kick back and relax. Got a lot on my mind. We were silent for a bit there. I was setting some things up, but yeah, we're talking again now. You can hear my beautiful voice. I haven't streamed in some days. I haven't streamed in some days, and I'm aware of this. Life got a little bit hectic there for a bit, but I'm back now. You know, you can see me. We have a little intro bit going on. I got plans to improve that. Hang on. Something is going way funky with my camera. Mm. All right, that is a little better. And all right, so I feel like that's enough introductions. Now we're gonna switch back to the streaming view. Hang on, I don't have capturing the game properly. I always forget to make sure these things. Uh, there we go. All right, so we're launching back into Ember Knights. Let me see what save we're on. We're gonna go back to the third save and we're gonna play. Adjust that a little bit. All right. Yeah, I haven't played Ember Knights since the last time I streamed it. uh, this is one of the games that since I've been streaming it so much, I haven't really been playing it off stream. Where's that little cat you gotta interact with to get the ability from Astral Scent? I'm not seeing it anywhere. That can't have been a limited time thing, right? They wouldn't have made that time limited. Surely. Probably some way to get it in game if they did. I think it'd kind of be bogus if they did. I don't see why you would make mitigate as a crossover with another person's IP, but like it is pretty unfortunate if they made content in the game, especially something that affects gameplay so directly, into something like that, something that you just got to be there when it's there. I'm never a fan of such FOMO practices, I gotta say. I'm widely opposed to them. In fact, there's few, if any, cases of FOMO that I feel are justified in any way. I feel most of the time FOMO is nothing more than just some predatory business practices. And yeah. Alright, so I used the scythe alt stream last stream. I'm gonna switch to the bow and see how much I can do with see how much damage I can do with that. Can't find the cat character to interact with, so it really does look like you just can't get that stuff anymore. Unless there's something I'm missing. We gotta get a little deeper into the game before they appear. Whatever, we're gonna dip back into Skogfirth. And I used the bow a little bit on Steam Deck in the past, but I haven't used it too much, admittedly. I remember not really enjoying using it, but we'll see if that changes now that I've gotten a little bit better at this game. It's definitely a safer weapon. Like, you don't need to get as close to adversaries. Ow. But as you can see, it's still definitely possible to take damage. Oh, okay, so it's got a little bit of a limited range. That's interesting to note. For some reason, assumed it would be endless. I guess that was a little bit of a foolish assumption. Alright. Do we have an alt fire? It does not seem so. We just have the regular charged up shot. It does take a while to kill things, it seems. So then again, mine is unupgraded. We have an unlocked weapon upgrading, so maybe I'm missing something. Something crucial to the bow's benefits. Alright, we're gonna go cloak and dagger. You know, it's the safe option. You know, I'm playing things safe since I'm using a weapon I'm not as familiar with. We'll go back to experimenting once I go back to more familiar territories. Alright. gonna go Vital Convergence. I think Vital Convergence is the preferred methods. I feel like these tree guys might be much easier to deal with the bow, since I don't have to really worry about positioning quite as much. So maybe they'll be less annoying. That did not turn out to be facts. The lack of any kind of a, well, I guess. Yeah. So there is a bit of a quick attack, but is his range different? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, so I was talking about the lack of a quick attack, but it's clear that we do got one. I don't need to charge up every shot to the max. And I seem to kill things a lot faster when I don't charge things to max. So I'm kind of wondering what the benefit of max is. Probably boss damage, I'm assuming. Like, that'll probably provide substantial benefits in damaging enemies that don't die as fast. Yeah, I think that is cases. And definitely the enemies that just one shots. All right. I'm kind of seeing the appeal of this now. Now I'm starting to get it though. It is a lot more finger spammy than most weapons if you want a quick fire. Oh man, it seems to kill things actually a little decently quickly for the range can sheath. Alright. Yeah, so I think I'm starting to get used to this. And I'm still probably going to prefer the scythe because honestly, I find melee weapons in games usually to be significantly more fun, even if they're not as good. Yeah, I'm not as concerned with optimization as I am with just enjoying myself. Yeah, the tree guy is turning out to be a lot more annoying. There's no real mobility to your attack with the bow. You're just kind of planted in place. So that's something I'm going to have to get used to, definitely. Okay, so it is longer range. That is definitive proof now. Alright, Plaguebringer. Easy enough. Definitely the easiest version of Guzzle Wound. Alright. A little bit into focus mode right now. Oh, fuck. Yeah, like I said, the fact they have no real mobility while attacking is definitely throwing me off here. It's not what I'm accustomed to. Ouch. So we are taking some serious hurting. Maybe a little bit more than we should be. Maybe some avoidable damage. Alright, there we go. But we still got it. Alright, how fast can we destroy the sign? Nah, it took some doing. Definitely take that. Whenever you use a skill, your rapid attacks add burn. I can't afford that. Take the healing. Yeah, so I mentioned in the video that should be going up today that actually it should be up by the time you're watching the stream. Well, it should be up right now. But I mentioned in a video, I believe it was the Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog episode 1. Again, it should be live on the channel at this moment. That I got a Samsung S24 Ultra. And in that video, I used that as a segue to start complaining about Verizon. Because Verizon is generally horrible, especially their customer service. But today, I want to use that as a reason to start gushing about the S24 Ultra. Because I've been a Motorola guy for some years now. For background, I've almost exclusive, well, not almost, I have exclusively used Motorola phones for the better part of a decade. And I gotta say, I've converted. Like, the reason I chose the S24 Ultra is just because I got a real good deal on it with my phone plan, and because apparently Verizon stopped carrying Motorola's, at least in store. So, yeah, I couldn't keep doing the phone brand I wanted, which was definitely disappointing. I seriously did consider just getting a new phone provider, but I realized it would have been a lot more complicated than just sucking it up and getting a different Android phone. iOS was never on the docket. Like, that was never going to happen. I'm not getting a... that might go well with this. I'm not getting a Apple device ever. Like, I've been down that road, and I learned why I should never do it again. Yeah. It's like Linux. Like, I've tried it, and now I know I never want to touch it ever again for the rest of my life. And the S24 Ultra, I used to be massively anti-Samsung, and I still kind of am. Like, I still think they're overall pretty shitty company who overcharges for their products, but what is new in the smartphone game, as they say? Alright. That should help me compensate for the lacking damage of the quick shots. There we go. And back to the S24 Ultra. The first thing I really started to like was the pen. I used to think it was pretty gimmicky back with the notes, and they dropped the notes, and I thought, all right, that's the end of the pen. Then they moved the pen over to the S line, so it appears the pen is now part of their flagships. And you know what? I actually really like the pen. I take back all the negative judgments I've ever given it. Not that I've given any on stream, but I have given plenty, yeah, personally. And I gotta say, probably the most useful feature of it so far, something that's definitely going to be coming to YouTube Shorts. No, it'll be coming soon, in fact, is the ability to remotely start recording, because the pen can control the camera while outside of the phone from a pretty decent range. So that's definitely going to be useful. I already have intentions to make adjustments to that. There we go. I forgot to turn my ring light on. Does it make a massive difference? It does. Do I like it with or without the ring light more? I'm thinking without. I'm thinking I prefer the no ring light option. Genuinely. I mean, I'm sure I'll get feedback on that, but at least when the camera's all small, like, I think it makes me easier to see. Or at least I think the contrast when the camera's all small is a lot less pleasing. And, like, you don't need to be seeing as much of my background. Like, now that I have, like, the zoom in for my background, like at the beginning of the streams and videos, I feel like it's not as necessary to have my background be more visible when my face cam is smaller, since you're gonna get a nice heap and helping of it every stream anyways. Nah, it wasn't perfect. Fuck. I would like to get my first kill of this thing. There we go. I was going to say my first kill of this thing without losing a life on stream. I'm not sure if I've already accomplished that, but I think this might be the first time I have. And it's weird, because back when I was playing this game on the Steam Deck all the time, I could do that very consistently. But, you know, now that I'm getting used to mouse and keyboard, it's kind of like learning a new game. Yeah, it took too long. The main downside of the bow appears to be DPS, but I think it makes up for that in safety. Which is weird, because in the limited interactions I've had with the Ember Knights community, they made it sound like the bow has the best DPS of any weapons in the game. That appears to have been false advertising, unless I'm doing something wrong. But... and I might be. That is possibilities. That is considerable possibilities. I'm not going to pretend that's unlikely, but it doesn't seem to be that the case. There we go. Yeah, it definitely is a lot safer of a weapon. So I don't enjoy it quite as much. Plasma ball, interview crit. Whenever you defeat an enemy, change counter a lightning bolt. I'll take the lightning bolts. Oh wait, fuck! I just noticed the health items there. All right, I should have taken that. Live and learn. But it's not like it's gonna matter much. We don't die after all. One doesn't need healing if you simply do not die in the first place. Anyways, back to the Samsung. Another thing I've been enjoying about it is dealing with Samsung's kind of like Android B situation they got going on, where they run Android, but it's like a substantially different version of Android than what I'm accustomed to. Like I said, I've been using Motorola for some years now, and while they Motorola even like modified the operating system more than most, it still was pretty much just base Android with some extra like built-in apps. But Samsung does, it doesn't feel like a whole new operating system, but it's not far off from doing so, is what I would say. Now, fuck. Summon Geo, I'm gonna go with. I feel like Summon Geo is gonna be of use. Oh, fuck. Alright, extra life spent. Alright, we're gonna go for extra max health. I think it has a lot of neat features. I like the ability to set it so that it will automatically restart whenever you decide to. I have it set to do it every day at 3 a.m. because I'm not very likely to be using my phone at all at 3 a.m. So I feel like it's just a good time to get it out of the way, because if you don't know, you should be restarting your phone, you know, like holding down the power button, selecting restarts as often as possible, because that does a whole lot of good things for your phone's well-being. And in general, Samsung has seemingly done a lot to improve the ability to keep your phone working longer, which has been a talking point for a while when it comes to smartphones and consumer technology in general. Like the whole conversation around such things as planned obsolescence. And while I don't personally think planned obsolescence is as much of a thing in the way that people say that it is, I definitely see the problem. For a while there, it did seem like smartphones are just getting worse and worse with every passing year. And I feel like that's still the case to say Apple. But at least with Samsung, it does seem like they've done a lot with the new Galaxy S24 Ultra to make sure this phone will last a lot longer. Like they promised, I think it was 7 years of consistent security updates and 7 generations of Android updates. This is already huge. Like that's something you used to only get with the Google Pixel, and now it seems to be becoming relatively more common to have extended end of life with smartphones, which I hope Apple picks up on, because I think they're still offering the same deal they always were. Which, to be fair, for a while there was probably the best you got in phones in terms of how long your phone would be receiving guaranteed updates. Never use a skill, you gain bonus damage. Sure. But I feel like that said more about the quality of what other people were offering than the quality of Apple products, and now they are no longer offering anything close to the best deals. Now I think they are just, and by the best deals I mean exclusively in terms of device longevity. I don't mean in terms of device quality versus price. In that format, they were always doing some of the worst deals. I don't think there was ever a point where an Apple product was worth buying over anything else in the market. Mostly due to being overpriced horrifically. Not that the S24 Ultra is, and I don't think any smartphone has justifications to be costing more than $1,000. I barely think $800 is acceptable. But we are in the world that we live in, and it was the most affordable option based on how much it would affect my monthly phone payments. In fact, my monthly phone payments went down because of the longevity of the payments I'll be making on this phone. So there is such considerations as that. I feel like most phones, like nowadays, just set real high prices to look like real luxury because they know most people aren't ever going to end up actually paying such prices. They're just going to go through their phone provider and get it for cheaper, which is unfortunate. It's kind of like what happens with health insurance, where all medical anythings are grossly overcharged in the USA because they're counting under health insurance, lowering the copay. So their customers end up paying less in the end, which makes them less money, of course. So they charge you more, which is real shitty practices, especially when you're considering like something as important as medical care. But I cannot change these rules on my own, and I do need medicine. So unfortunately, I do just kind of got a deal. Anyway, we're getting a little bit off topic. Back to the Samsung, and back to the Smaggy. I think it is among Android phones close to the best value you're gonna get in its price range. It can do just about everything you need. It also has a lot of nice features. Like I said, the S Pen offers some really compelling remote capabilities, and I feel that does extend to other features the phone has to offer. Like, it has one of the easier to remove batteries to smartphones out right now. Like, it isn't, we're not yet back in the days of all phones having removable backs that let you swap out the battery, and they usually come with an extra battery. We're not back in them days, but we're getting close. Apparently, the EU passed laws where all phones are going to need to do that by 2027. So hopefully that comes into effect when phone companies don't find some kind of wormy, loopholey way around it, and we wind up with those repairabilities. And phones in general have much more longevity, but with what Samsung's offering, like 7 years updates, they've improved the phone's durability to where that I think it has the strongest screen of any smartphone to come out since they stopped putting sapphire in them, and which is, still huge. Like, I remember watching the Jerry Rig Everything video where it's scratched at a level 7 with deeper grooves at a level 8, which is unheard of. Like, you just don't see that on Jerry Rig Everything. Especially, again, not since they stopped putting sapphire in smartphones. Back when HTC was huge on doing that, and then HTC kind of stopped existing after Google bought them for assistance in developing the Google Pixels. But Samsung has come definitely closer to achieving strength comparable to sapphire in smartphones. They're going back to sapphire, and I get why phone companies moved away from it. Like, it's an expensive process to get sapphire bricks big enough to turn into phone screens. Sapphire is a very expensive material, and on that note, most consumers probably don't care if they have sapphire level resistance, especially because it does raise prices. And again, it's understandable. It's a highly expensive material. It's like why all the phones out that use so-called titanium chassis don't actually use nearly enough titanium for it to make any kind of appreciable difference in the phone's overall durability. Like, this one doesn't have enough titanium in it, and it's not like dispersed correctly. I guess that's the language I should be using. It doesn't disperse the titanium throughout the body in such a way that it would make an appreciable difference in terms of how durable the phone is. But the better glass absolutely does. Like, it is a very clear difference in its ability to not only resist major fractures, but also the micro fractures that weaken the structural stability of the phone over time and allow the bigger fractures to happen more easily. Which I think is what a lot of people miss when they say, like, oh, why does it matter that the phone screen is slightly stronger? It's because it extends the life of your phone. Because eventually, it just will develop enough micro fractures that it's going to be frail enough that it'll very easily have a shatterable screen. And that's why it really matters to have a screen that's more resilient to micro fractures, because it means your phone's going to last longer before it develops enough of those micro fractures to be problematic. Sorry, I got a little something lodged in my throat. But I'm sure we'll knock it out. Hang on. But yeah. I think people underestimate the value of things that can resist the microfractures. Like every chip in your phone is a hit to the structural stability, and you want to take as little of those as possible, essentially. Which is why I definitely should be putting screens on my phone, though I have a bad habit of not doing that. I have a pretty cheap, like $5 phone case on my phone right now. I'm probably gonna like save up to a point where I can like purchase a D brand skin without it unreasonably draining my bank account like it would at this moment. Because there's a lot of D brand skins I do like, and I would appreciate having one of their screen protectors, especially now they have that special applicator tool that makes it really easy to perfectly apply one. That definitely looks interesting because I've never been able to apply a screen protector in a way that didn't leave the screen all full of air bubbles and occasional trapped particles of dust, which is part of why I don't use them, because that stuff really, really bothers me. And it's not like I drop my phone all the time. It's not like my phone screens break. I've only had one phone that had a screen that broke on me, ever. So it's not like the biggest of my concerns, but you know, like I said, resisting microfractures is always great to have. And I would like to have that accessibility. Much like I do appreciate them installing MagSafe into their phone cases for Android devices. It's one of the few technologies Apple has that I think would actually be of value to other smartphones if they were able to implement it themselves. I mean, I don't like wireless charging because I haven't really had an experience with it where wireless charging didn't massively overheat my phone, which is terrible for your phone's battery life, by the way. If you use wireless charging a lot and you feel your phone's batteries aren't lasting as long as they used to, try using wireless charging a lot less. Try using it minimally. Try only using it if you absolutely need it. Because genuinely, like, they heat up your phone if you're using it while it's wireless charging. At least, again, with most of the phones I've had. I haven't used it much with my Samsung S24 Ultra, so admittedly, I can't say if it overheats this phone. Because, like, you know, I'm being cautious now. I know I got to be a lot more cautious than it was doing. We're going to switch back to the side. Actually, no, we're going to switch to the sword. I got to be a lot more cautious than I was doing. So, you know, that's kind of on me. But now I'm very careful with it. And, yeah. Like, avoid wireless charging if you're having problems with your phone's batteries overheating and dying too soon. I think the wireless charging might be doing that damage that you're noticing. Anyways, with that being said, yeah, I do think Samsung is doing a lot of the right things in terms of like right to repair situations. Like I watched the teardown of the S24 Ultra, and it actually seems relatively easy to get into for a smartphone of its price range, which is really good to see. I think that's definitely going to lead to a lot more. Let me drop a marker. It's going to be an extra long episode, but you know, we can do that.